Today we're talking about a camera that I at first was very skeptical about when it first came out, but has completely changed my mind the moment that I got my hands on it. We're talking about the Sony FX30. 1 year later, let's dive into it. Now yes, the Sony FX30 did come out almost 2 years ago. It came out September of 2022. But I got my hands on this thing around, I want to say March of 2023. I actually rented the camera before I even bought it. I had this gig in Nashville that I had to go to that required me to have multiple cameras. And so I knew I had to rent some cameras, and I just opted for renting one of the Sony FX30s. Now, when I first got the camera, I was really blown away by the sleek style and design that it had. It definitely had this post-modern look while also having this like elegant, aged look as well. It just looked like a Fuji cinema camera, almost, if you will. I like the black handle with the matte gray look. It just is really appealing to me. But the Sony FX30 represents Sony's expertise in digital imaging and cinematography. Designed to meet the demands of professional videographers, cinematographers, and filmmakers, the Sony FX30 knocks it out of the park. While its sister camera, the FX3, is a phenomenal camera, I'm gonna make the case today for why the Sony FX30 is that much better. Now, though the Sony FX30 is an APS-C sensor camera, it is still a phenomenal beast when it comes to low light videography. I have pushed this thing to its limit, and with the help of fast lenses and software in DaVinci Resolve, you can barely notice the noise in the image. On top of that, the fact that it records in ProRes 422 10-bit, the image quality is crazy insane. The FX30 delivers stunning clarity and detail. It's just one of those cameras that, packed into this small case of a body, it blows it out of the water. Now, depending on the memory card that you have, you can record up to 4K at 60 frames a second, more specifically 59.94p, which means that you can capture smooth slow motion at 4K with this camera, and it's incredible. Now, we can talk about all the different codecs and stuff like that. There are plenty of other people on this platform that talk about that, but today we're just going to talk about what makes this a very good, viable camera for content creators and filmmakers like yourself. Now, we've already talked about the fact that it shoots in 10-bit at 422 ProRes, and with that, you're going to get a ton of information. So I would highly suggest investing in a good memory card. A lot of times you can stick with the SanDisk Extreme Pro cards. This is the one that I have right here. With this card right here, I am more than capable of capturing the image that I need to capture. Now, of course, you can shoot at 120 frames per second, but you would have to kind of downscale the codec when it comes to that. You would have to shoot in HD, and you kind of get a little bit of a crop. I think 120 frames per second is kind of dying in our industry, to be quite honest with you. The highest frame rate that I would go personally is 60, just because you get the best quality out of that. Now, the Sony FX30 also offers advanced autofocusing. As you can see right now, I am shooting with a prime lens that is f1.4, so you can see that my face is in focus while the background is blurry. If I grab this little pizza here, put it in front of my face, you will see it capture focus quite flawlessly, bring it down, and it's doing an eye detection thing right now that it knows to capture my eyes in order to be back in focus. And that's the beauty of it. 1.4 is such a large aperture that if it's focused on my nose, this will be out of focus and it just looks off. So the fact that it can eye detect focus is incredible. Now, even with recording all of this data, this camera still does not fall short of awesome battery life. Just like the Sony a6600, I'm grabbing it right here. Here it is. This is my Sony a6600. Just like, the battery's not in here. Come on, dude. Get with it, dude. Just like the Sony a6600 and many other cameras, it uses this NP-FZ100 battery. This is a robust battery. This is a battery that is going to last you hours and hours on end. For example, me filming this video right now will take me something like 15 to 20 minutes, and I will probably use maybe a quarter of battery life. So knowing that I could take this camera as my A camera for interviews, it works pretty well. So I've got a few of these bad boys here, so whenever I need to swap batteries, it's super easy. I always have them charged. Charge them up in this guy right here. If you haven't heard, made a video about it. Check it out right there. It's a fast charger, so I know that whenever I'm running out of batteries, I can keep this charging and get it going. With that said, the menu system on this camera is actually really cool. I love the fact that it's a touch screen. You can go on there and kind of change your parameters on the quick menu. Really simple, really easy, really intuitive, especially if you're familiar with cinema cameras and video cameras. Everything's at your fingertips. You literally press one button, press what you need, change the different codecs, change the white balance, and you're good to go. What I love about this camera is that it can be full manual or full auto, meaning that you can have a ton of control with it if you really want to, or if you're running gun shooting, if you're vlogging, you can just set it to auto and you know that you're still gonna get good quality footage out of it. Out of all my months of using this, 12 months to be exact, I have not had any issue with overheating. What I love about this camera is that it has fans built into it, so when it gets to a point where it's super hot, it just blows out the air. And they're quiet fans too, you can barely hear them. The other beauty about this camera is that you don't really have to get a cage for it. You're more than welcome to, but it's got the 1/4-inch screws that you need to be able to attach different accessories to it. Now the camera is not complete. Let me just say that, because there are different ways that you can capture audio with this. You can obviously capture it with the 1/8-inch jack using an 1/8-inch microphone, like something like this Rode mic right here that you can just plug in and capture the audio there. But what I like to do is use, you know, mics like this shotgun mic that you see off of frame here. So without the XLR handle unit, which is the H1 top handle, it's kind of incomplete. And the problem is that top handle is almost 500 bucks, and I'm not gonna spend 500 bucks on that. So usually what I do is I record audio into my Zoom recorder and sync it up in post. I'm gonna make a total separate video about audio, but for example, I've got these Synco wireless microphone set that I can hook up to it, and I've already used it before for several clients in order to be able to capture, you know, YouTube content, social media content, stuff that they want to post online. Go straight into the camera, works super flawlessly and efficiently. And you know, I may be missing a ton of stuff with this camera. I just know that for a fact this camera has changed the way that I do video recording, whether it's cinematography, videography, whether it's an event or an interview, whether it's me filming this YouTube video. In comparison to the way that I've done it before, it's a revolutionary camera. It's one of those cameras that's super affordable that you're able to get and get high quality imaging. Now, the FX3 is a fantastic camera, full frame camera, and it's actually Netflix approved, but I'm not quite there yet. The Sony FX30 comes in at just under $1,800, whereas the FX3, let's look that up. The FX3 comes in at just under $4,000. So we're talking about almost a quarter of the price. The FX30 is basically the same thing as the FX3 with just an APS-C sensor. And now I'm gonna get a ton of hate in the comment section because of that. So in conclusion, if you're looking into a cinema camera, if you want to jump from a APS-C camera like the Sony a6600 or a 6400 to something a little bit more robust that gets you high quality imaging, the Sony FX30 is the camera for you. I've used it for about a year now. I highly recommend it. I'm probably gonna use it for many, many years after this. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope that this video informs you, inspires you, gets you to get off your seat and get out there and do some work. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you're notified when I post more videos. Hit the like button if you like this video, and I will see you in the next one.